Champions. Why did they do this to us, man? Why did they do this to us every single season? Why? Madness, drama, heartache, heartbreak, elevation, you name it, man. They took us through, in the words of Peter Drury, the ringer. They destroyed us and they brought us back on top of the mountain. I mean, where do we start from? Where the heck do we start from Championship Sunday, guys? Welcome to the show. Welcome to Pitch Points and Choosing Fan TV. I have with me here two great guys. Listen, guys, this is not going to be a scripted show. I have no agenda, no script. We're just going to talk. I have with me here Ade. Welcome back, Ade.
Good to have me back. Thank you. Appreciate you.
And I have with me here Vator. And the man himself, Associate Joe Vator. Welcome, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I had to celebrate with fellow like-minded City fans. So thanks for having me here, man.
Absolutely. And Patrick, welcome, man.
Yeah, I'm just here. I also went to pick up Cam so that we can look at his tears live on camera. But
wow,
no. I'm joking, Cam. I just wanted a Liverpool fan to tell us how he felt from his side. But I'm at work. I just wanted to say hi to you guys. Adi, how you doing? Better and Carl, how you doing, guys? After yesterday,
I'm doing great. You're doing great, buddy.
We're doing really well.
We're doing well. Welcome, Cam. We're doing well. I mean, it's I can't say we're doing well yesterday when I saw the lineup, man. I think I had a fit, but it's not about me, guys. I mean, looking back at yesterday, I just still sunk in what happened yesterday.
I mean, so it's weird it's weird. We don't know where to start because a lot's happened, but I'll just reflect on the result right now. It is weird on how the match played out, but the weirdness is the weirdness caused for a fantastic memory and moment. Yeah. That's really what happened. Like, we couldn't have scripted. I don't know how you guys feel or how often you guys play around with some of these socials, like jump in some of these spaces, but there was a lot of narratives, whether it was on Twitter, whether it was on Twitter Spaces, even some channels, right? We do it. We're fans, and fans is short for fanatic. So we're going to let the fantasies go. We're going to let the dreams continue, whether we're Liverpool fans or Manchester City fans. And there was a lot of things that were said that start creeping in your minds. I heard Liverpool fans talk about, Gerrard's going to do it for the club, right? He's going to make up for what didn't happen as a player. Coutinho is going to do his thing. Imagine a magical moment, Coutinho scoring and the celebrator or the commentator saying, Coutinho, like trying to give an Aguero moment. Like a lot of those things were happening in the spaces, and I tried my best to calm down. I tried my best to be like, no, that's not logical. No, the City's the better team versus Aston Villa. Here's how it's going to play out. But doubt, inception creeps in, right? We've all seen the movie. Just that idea starts seeping in, and you're like, I wonder. And the way that match played out, guys, the fact that we didn't show any sign. So I know I'm skipping ahead because, Carl, you wanted to talk about the whole lineup too, which had...
No, this is free script. I have no script, no agenda.
Okay, so I know I'm being a little long-winded.
Pre-game, mid-game, and then post-game, how we kind of felt and what the future looks like as well, really. And we have Cam here from Liverpool as well, because he also has perspective.
Fair, and I'm gonna throw it to Cam too. But just to give you guys a little glimpse, and I don't think it's any different amongst any other fan base, guys. You have your group chats, you have your Twitter Spaces, you have even maybe like your text groups, right? And the messages go back and forth. And when the lineup comes out, for me out here in Toronto, I get the lineup an hour before based off of the app that I use. And I know there's some people in the know that will get it sooner, but I wait until this app comes out and then I reflect on it. And I know there's not a lot of City fans, but oddly enough, before moving, my neighbor, literally Canadian, was another City fan. So we used to text back and forth, and it's still a tradition now. But the lineup comes out and Carl is instantly not happy with it. Patrick questioning the lineup. I didn't see the lineup yet, so I'm hearing it from these guys, and I'm like, what the heck is Pep doing with this lineup? Why is he making this
choice? The lineup was trash.
So there's all that's going down, and then at the end of the day, me myself as a fan, I'm like, calm down, trust in the manager. We all know the importance of this match. The players aren't going to let us down, and let it slide. So there's that. The match goes off, right? And I'll come back and talk more because again, I could talk for hours.
Yeah.
But the match kicks off, and we're down. If one of you guys want to take it from there and talk about what was felt.
Well, I want to serenade him a bit more on the lineup, the reaction, and why I felt that way. And I did please chime in, and then Adam, welcome, Cam. So for me, I mean, we've watched City a lot over the years, plenty times, right? We kind of know the players. It's weird because we who watch internationally, who are not in the stadium, have this weird relationship with the players. We kind of know who they are. We know their body language. You know what they do. We've seen them so many times that in our brain, it's coded how they move the ball without on the ball. We kind of sense it. So when I see Fernandinho at the back, all right, and I see Riyad Mahrez, alarms are going off. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, why would Liverpool, for example, play Jordan Henderson as a centre half when John Stones and the right back? When John Stones is on the field, you have Zinchenko there as well. Why? Why are we taking a risk? And I talked about Ollie Watkins versus Fernandinho. I talked about the problem of that ball coming in from Riyad Mahrez's left side because Riyad doesn't track back. And I was freaking out, right? But Ade tried to calm me down. You know, Patrick tried to talk some sense into me. But Ade, well, how did you feel? And Adam, how did you feel, man, when you saw the lineup?
So the lineup, I was a little worried, but I wasn't that worried because I think I try to rationalize why Fernandinho was playing center back. He's a bit more physical. Ollie Watkins is going to be physical, but I think he didn't account for the speed that was involved. Like Ollie Watkins is faster than Fernandinho, so if they play the ball over, that's a bit of a difficult stretch for Fernandinho to catch up. Well, he was thinking more of the physicality, and there's probably nobody on that team that's more physical than Fernandinho. But then what I didn't get was why put Stones if he's healthy at the right back? And I guess that was the counter Coutinho because you can't put Fernandinho there because Fernandinho is not as fast again. So I think, again, this is one of those things he doesn't like to hear, but, you know, he's overthinking the whole lineup and he's trying not to do too much. He's trying to simplify it. When in simplifying it, he actually complicated it. And then, you know, and that's why he's the manager. He made the adjustments and he realized what was happening. We had Mahrez and Bernardo Silva they weren't really giving him too much. It's not like we can sit here and say Sterling has been phenomenal and, you know, he should have played Sterling from the beginning. That's not true. And Mahrez is one of the leading goal scorers on the team. So it just didn't happen that it wasn't working for him in this game. And he fixed it. He figured it out. And, you know, here we are talking about the results.
You know, the funny thing about it, Patrick, and Cam, coming to you as well, get your perspective on this, is what Villa actually did, right, for me, was they played a 4-3-3, but they played a little different 4-3-3. They had 4 in the back, 3 in the midfield, and they played Coutinho and Buendia narrow in front of behind Watkins. So all of a sudden, the pressure was not on the fullback areas. The pressure was on Fernandinho. So it was like Pep. Within 2 minutes, I kind of saw that happening. You had Buendia and Coutinho narrow with the what's the name in front Watkins in front of them. So they kept it narrow. The fullbacks were not exposed. So the pressure was coming from those 3 pressing the ball there, which. Again, Fernandinho got in trouble. So, I mean, Patrick and Cam, did you see the same thing? Was I just dreaming and smoking crack? Was I?
No, we got the same thing. I think Cam will is best we ask him maybe how things were from that other side. Like, what was how was he feeling from that other side? Because that's why I invited him. I was like, you know what, I'd like to hear as a Liverpool fan when you were sitting there listening that there's a 2-0 at Villa, listening that City are still losing till maybe the 7th minute, 70 minutes we're still losing, and obviously we were excited when it was 1-0 Wolves, even though we knew Wolves have scored early. So for me on the lineup, I wasn't happy with the Fernandinho thing. I think it was sentimental because Zinchenko was there. I would rather see Zinchenko at left back and the Cancelo right back. I'd rather see Ake at left back, you know. And Ake is fit, and then he comes out and says, yes, Ake is fit. That's what pisses me off. He came out and said, yes, Ake is well. So he left him on the bench, but I knew something was going to give, and I knew Coutinho was going to score. Coutinho has always loved scoring against Man City. You know yourself. He scored a banger once against us. He just loves And you can see that Coutinho as a player, the way he tricked Edison. Edison had no clue. He pretended as if he's gonna kick it far and kicked it to the goal. So look, let me be honest with you. You saw my tweets. I think I said game over. I said it's over. I congratulated a lot of Liverpool fans. I was like, this is done. Because let's be honest, how many times have we seen a comeback from this Pep team? It's a few times. But the Pep one, I'm not talking about City in general, just the Pep one. They've come back a few times, but when it's down and out, we either get a draw, like I saw the West Ham one, but we never come back from. This is the first time I've seen them actually come back at the point where they are on fire. They're coming back with more fire. I know we can come back with the West Ham. So for me, all I can ask Cam is, how did you guys feel? Let's just hear from you as a Liverpool fan when it was 1-0 and we were happy that other side. But how do you feel when you saw the 2-0? Then how do you feel the moment also when you saw, oh shit, that side is 3-2? Because I know Salah was hurt. He thought he had an Aguero moment. Then somebody told him in the in the crowd that no, it's 3-2. But anyway, so Cam, how did you feel yourself, and how was your experience yesterday?
So just to start off, just say congratulations to everybody here. Well done, well deserved. That's the first thing. Probably tell by the tone of my voice, I'm disappointed. More so because I sort of gave up on the title, and then partway through the match, you get hope again, and then you get kicked in the nuts. And I was looking at the stats. Pep has only come back from going behind once in the Premier League. The other times have been draws and losses. So statistically, when I heard it was 2-0, I thought it was unlikely you would come back. Yeah. But, you know, you're a phenomenal team, and therefore if anybody's going to do it, Man City are going to do it. But you team are very good at going into control. And when you get the first goal, it's very difficult to come back from other teams to come back. Generally, when you're chasing, you sometimes have problems. But nevertheless, the way I look at it, I'll summarize first and then give you my thoughts. Muhammad Ali fought, what was his name in the Rumble in the Jungle?
Fraser?
Foreman,
Foreman,
right? So there was two great boxers having a fight. So I'm proud from that perspective that it's my team that's involved. I'm hurt. But throughout the match, when it was 1-0, I wasn't overly fussed because it's 1-0 and I just thought you'd spank him. When you went 2-0, my immediate thought was, we're going to drop points here and you're going to draw or you're going to lose, right? I didn't think you'll win. I thought you'll draw or lose. And the longer the game went on, I just thought this is the worst thing. I was either saying to myself, please score or let Man City win. Because the worst thing from my perspective is you guys lose and then we draw. So, yeah, it was a roller coaster of emotions. It was one of the games that will remain with me. I'm proud that my team played a part in it.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show Pep, for all his brilliance, he's human as well, which fills me with confidence because next season he can make the same tactical mistakes. Yes, he made an adjustment, but, you know, probability-wise, you're not going to win 3-2 every time you make those mistakes. So that fills me with a bit of confidence that Man City are human. And at the same time, we pushed all the way. And that fills me with confidence because the way I've been telling everybody is, maybe it's an excuse for myself, but for the first 3-4 months of the season, our centre-backs were coming back up to fitness. And we only dropped 4 points from January onwards. So maybe it's a bit of psychology in my head. Maybe we'll drop the same amount of points in the first half next season. But these are the psychological things I look at. So fantastic game. It was a real drama. Well-deserved Man City. And hopefully we'll see each other again next season. Maybe one of us will just spank the other one and we don't
go through this again. I did, you know, Cam, and respect for coming on board. First of all, coming to the show to join us in this discussion, and then respect to Liverpool, because the reality is this, and I talked about this way back in August, and I did this chime in here. When we were arguing about with our fans from other clubs, United fans and Chelsea fans, he and I said one thing. We said, look, y'all just wasting your time, man. Y'all just wasting your time, because At the end of the day, they're only going to be too close. They're going to challenge for the title, and it's going to be close. And I said that it's going to be 90-plus points to win the league. It's not going to be 82, 83. So you're talking about, Lukaku coming in and playing. Yeah, like, okay, fine, but you ain't going to win the league. You may win the cup, but with these two madmen there, you're not going to win the league because of the levels that the problem with the Premier League is not the one that United are terrible. Yes, they're pretty bad, obviously, or Arsenal are terrible, or Chelsea are terrible. No, they're actually good teams.
Yeah.
But if you look at the table itself, they're all bunched in that 71, 68, 69 points kind of gap. In any traditional season, Ade, you win the league with 75 points, 76 points, right? Which means that it's very, very, very tight with 4 teams in it. But you have these two outliers. These two outliers are going to 90-plus points, and one gets 92 and doesn't win the league. One gets 97 and doesn't win the league. One has to get to 100 points to win the league. One has to get to 99 points to win the league. So it's difficult. I mean, I think build on
92 points out of the 25 of the 30. It gets you a win out of 25 out of 30 Premier League seasons. That's how impressive that 92 point is for Liverpool. Before the season started, I kind of always knew, even when Chelsea was a dump, and I was like, at the end of the day, it's gonna be Liverpool, City. Those are the two best teams, and they play like that because we're the most consistent, and that's why it's always those two at the end of the day. The game itself, I think we had a lot of good chances. I mean, we're looking at the subs, and we're saying it was the subs. We had good chances. There was one that Jesus could have put in. There was the one that De Bruyne slipped. We had some opportunities, so I don't want to say it was a complete disaster before the substitution, but the one in the back line was probably a major one. Yeah. As far as going forward, I think it's going to be the same two teams again. I think it's at that point where it's almost very similar to Barcelona and Real Madrid, and everybody's like either fighting for third, fourth. It feels like that because I don't see Liverpool. Liverpool have added new additions, so they're going to be consistent.
Ade, sorry for cutting you, but this is a bit of good news for all of you. Jack just tweeted that Man City are on the pursuit of Calvin Phillips.
Jack on?
Yeah, Jack, yeah.
I kind of already talked to Carl about that.
If Jack tweets that, then it's done, man.
So the thing is, I actually thought we would. I know we're going off topic, but I thought if he had been relegated, it would probably be announced like a week later that we got him. But anyways, going back to the game.
Sorry, I just one point real quick. So when Jack Gorn tweets something like that, two things have happened, right? City have made contact with Calvin Phillips, and there's an agreement in place. That is normally what happens. So he's a blue tick guy. He's a very reliable guy, but we will see how this unfolds. Sorry, I didn't continue on.
No, that's it. I want to give Vator and other guys a chance to. I don't believe Adam has said anything yet. So
Adam's off, but Vator and Certified. Welcome, Certified. How are you, man? Certified.
I'm already good. Can you guys hear me?
You're very low.
Your volume is low.
You're very low.
Can't hear him. Sorry.
So Vator, I watched the first half again last night, and the team didn't do that badly. I thought they were a little hurried.
Yeah,
they weren't as crisp as they could have been. The Liverpool game for me, when I heard the score 1-0, I'm like, forget it. Liverpool going to win their game. Liverpool going to win the game. So just discount the 1-0 Wolves because they're going to win their game, right? When we went 2 down, I was done. I mean, I was heartbroken and I was in despair. Right? How did you feel first half, and then when it went 2 goals up?
Yeah, first half, I jumped on the app. I looked to see what 11 did Liverpool start with, because I wanted to see, okay, is there any thinking from Klopp's standpoint with regards to managing players, with regards to Champions League, because they're obviously still playing in that. So I looked at that, and it's still a strong team. Expected them to win as good as Wolves are. Then even with our starting lineup, I thought that, okay, let me have trust in it. Let me see how the guys are playing. And again, to your point, what Ade said and what you mentioned, we had chances. The players were playing and created chances, but we did look shaky. We did look brittle in defense, because there were a few chances that I think went over the net or missed targets where we could have actually been down 2-0 a lot sooner in that first half. So, I thank my blessings with regards to that first half of being down 1-0. I'm not. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not superstitious, but I do things irrationally when the game is being played. So
that's superstition, my friend. That's not the textbook definition. But no.
But I don't have a ritual, to put it that way. So, I will wear one jersey to start the match. I will watch the match in one room. If I'm getting bad vibes, I will change the room I'm watching the game in. Okay. So I was watching the game. We went down 1-0. I was watching it we have a TV in the kitchen. I left the kitchen, watched it in another room. I'm yelling, obviously, because we're missing opportunities, and I'm being loud. Wifey was already telling me, like, can you move? Can you move? I'm like, no, I can't. We go down a second goal. I say, okay, I'm moving. I went down to the basement to watch the remaining of the match. That's actually where the kind of like a little bit of the man cave is. So I'm down here watching. Still, nothing's happening. We're not looking sharp enough. And the first sub happened, or was just about to happen. I take the same scarf. And if you guys watch the Football Terrace, you'll see how it ended up. I was watching the game like this. I put this over my head. We scored the first goal. I kept this on my head. We scored the second goal. I kept this on my head. We scored the third goal. I
put a plague on your house now.
I was like, I did my part. Carl, I did my part. I cheered the team on. This is my, whether it helped or not, this is what I did.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
I tuned into the Football Terrace. I was looking the same way. It was
crazy.
Oh man, it was such a match in terms of like the emotion part. And to Cam's point, I know that there were some fans that were kind of like already reluctant. Like they said, if it happens, it happens. I don't see it happening or whatever. But the fact, if you were just watching it on a ticker, or if you had people just chiming in and giving you updates, you couldn't help but get drawn back in, right? Because you're having other people tell you, City's down 1-0, City's down 2-0 in the 70th minute, and they don't look like anything's going to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can see how gut wrenching it can be, because you like, whether it was you trying not to do it or others pulling you in, like you're now invested. And it was a vicious way to kind of do it, in terms of like maybe being dismissive at first, but then having that hope. As a fan as well, I don't want the team to win that way. I know after the fact it's amazing because the emotions were there.
Absolutely.
I don't want the stress of the 80th minute to think we had
too much stress.
Like given, and no disrespect, Cam's one of the few Liverpool fans that I actually like. There's a lot of Liverpool fans that I just
There's more about you.
There's so many that I just think are like obnoxious and pretentious and even with amazing Liverpool history, amazing run with regard to Klopp. But again, and I've said this and I've been clowned about it, I'm happy for how the team's performing now, and I recognize the manager that I have. There's no expectation that we should be competing or challenging like this. So there's a humbleness to it.
Yeah.
There's some Liverpool fans that this is their expectation, and I'm like, no, we all should be cherishing this because this isn't given. So there's those that I just can't really deal with. But with regards to a battle now, the back and forth, the little bit of trolling, the jokes that we have with fans like Cam, that's what made this season so good. That's what made it so good, because it was a little bit of jostling, but it was in spirit of the game. I don't hate Liverpool fans. A lot of them bother me. I don't hate the club, because I think maybe if the rivalry continues, the hatred will be there. But I do dislike the pressure that they put on us. If that makes any sense.
I mean, Vator, I'm coming to you, Cam, and then just certified. So here's my theory about this stuff, right? I really think that having Klopp in the Premier League and Guardiola in the Premier League, Because Klopp is in the Premier League, Guardiola's not going to leave. Are you following me?
I hope you're right.
I think because of the excitement and the drive and the hunger that both fuel each other, they're not going to leave. They're probably going to extend probably a couple more years. Because where do they go, frankly? Where do they really go? I mean, where's Klopp going to go? Bayern Munich and win everything for 20 years? What, Barcelona, Real Madrid? Where are they going to go? The integrity of the Premier League, that game on Sunday taught me one thing, that there is integrity in the Premier League. Wolves going ahead at Anfield 1-0. Villa going 2-0 at the Etihad and not giving a jot about whether we're going for the title or fighting for everything. These guys have nothing to play for, Cam. Absolutely zilch to play. Wolves have nothing to play for. No Europe. Villa have no Europe, nothing to play for but pride. That we want to be the ones to stop both of these teams from qualifying and maintain the integrity of the Premier League, which is why we love it. Without those two teams doing what they did, we won't have this excitement we had on the last day.
Yeah.
I mean, Cam, what do you think? What do you think?
So to me,
yeah.
So absolutely. I know we pump a lot of teams a lot of the time, but it's not because they're laying down. It's because they just can't handle the quality, the systems that both teams have. So, there's this whole spiel about the quality of the Premier League is really low. We've touched on it previously. That's absolute tosh. It's the richest league in the world. Even teams in the mid-table to bottom tier have the financial power to compete with European super clubs and bring players in. So I don't buy that argument. It's the league has integrity. It's the best league in the world right now, and it's the best managers. I think the best 3 or 4 managers in the world are here as well. I mean, where else can Klopp and Pep go? France, it's a one-team league. Germany, all right, if Klopp went and took over Dortmund or Pep went and took over Dortmund, they'll make it a 2-team league, I'm sure. But where can you realistically go? Justin, this gentleman's just asked a question about, do I regret Liverpool not scoring? Ironically, I had this conversation yesterday with a friend at night, and I said to him, I wonder what would have happened had we been in the lead and they were 2-0 down, because the crowd, I feel it's psychological, right? Yeah. They'd be panicking even more, and that transfers to the players, or you would hope it would transfer to the players. Pep has a very well-drilled team. They probably got psychiatrists, so maybe it wouldn't affect them. But it's another variable that you would put into the mix, and it might have a negative output. It's
actually, the weird thing about that is, actually, I was thinking about that during the game, that Liverpool should not go ahead, because if Liverpool go ahead, it's going to transfer to the fans in the stadium and transfer to the players. It's psychological. It changes the dynamic. It changes, because Liverpool are up the top of the league now. Liverpool, City have to score, and then there's pressure, and they start making mistakes, and then all kinds of. So it just, the multiplier effect. It just forces it. So as long as Liverpool were tying or drawing with Wolves and we were 1 down, I still had hope. Certified, when it went to 2, mate, listen, I lost all hope. I had my hands in my head. I was in despair. I couldn't.
Why?
Certified, how were you, man, when it went to 2-0?
Man, when it went 2-0, I don't. Can you guys hear me, by the way, first?
Hear you clearly, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man, when it went 2-0 and it was Coutinho, I was saying, this whole league was scripted. Everything. Steven Gerrard, why would it be Aston Villa on the last day? I was saying, who was writing this book? Did Jurgen Klopp hire someone from UEFA to write this book? Like, what was going on, man? I thought it was scripted. But then I just don't know what it was. I gave up a little bit, because obviously when we've been 2-0 down, I think we haven't came back under Pep, because normally we're always in front. We always like to score first. So in these situations, I hadn't seen that. But I said, when after the comeback, I said that there was a reason that we lost that UCL final. Ever since we lost that UCL final, we have been more clutch in certain moments this season. I've seen there's been times where we've been, obviously, Real Madrid was and maybe Tottenham as well, at home. Them were the 2 games that I'll say that I don't know how we drew or lost to those matches. But mainly, we've been coming back. Liverpool at Anfield, they scored, we scored. They scored, we scored. Chelsea, we go again to the end run, get the 1-0. We get the strike. Big games. What was there? PSG, we went 1-0 down, Kylian Mbappe ended up winning the game. So I'm seeing much more of a mentality shift in this team. I'm not sure if it's because of Ruben Diaz coming in, because ever since that guy's came in, he's just been winning leagues. We've just been winning even more than we've been winning. So there is this mentality that we had. So I was down and out, but the next 10 minutes, once we got that first goal, I knew we could do something. Once we got that first goal, I stayed calm. But once it was the second, I was like, yeah, I just had a Aguero 10-year anniversary. This thing was scripted. I'm telling you, somebody scripted this thing. On the 10-year anniversary, 10 years, a decade, he scored.
So, I mean, when that game was going on in my mind, I remember a quote that football is the game of the gods, right? If there's a game that the gods play in the heavens, it must be football. Because that kind of stuff doesn't happen that way. Think about even Liverpool, right? Liverpool, Barcelona, Champions League 2 or 3 years ago, right? 3-0 down the first leg at the Nou Camp. They come to Anfield, right? And it's 4-0. Stuff like that doesn't happen in real life, man. With people like Messi on the field, people like that. It doesn't happen. My eye, after the 2-0, and it's coming to you, Blue Studio, welcome, as a Chelsea fan. My eye was on the clock at 2-0. My eye was like, okay, the clock is 2-0. It's 70 minutes or so. We have 20 minutes left. It's now or never. What is Guardiola going to do in the next 20 minutes? And Ade and True Blue Studio, he makes the right decisions. Do we all agree that he makes the right decisions by all the players he brought in?
Yeah.
What was?
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
But you did go another goal down. I personally think what Liverpool and City do very well, sorry to interject, is that they wear teams down eventually. Wear them down. So I think the changes were like your left back, what's his name?
Zinchenko.
I think he was very good because you were coming in a lot and you were going outside. Sterling on the other side, on the outside. So I think it was more not the changes, but I thought you wore them down. They had not much left in the tank. And just one last point on that. I don't know if for you guys, but for me, the Liverpool game was going really fast and the City game was going really slow. And they were playing in parallel.
Yeah.
It was insane. Like time was Sorry to interject there.
It's okay. I did come to you. I mean, so Sterling comes in and plays on the right. Mahrez goes out. And by the way, if you watch the parade show, I think Jack Grealish and Bernardo were saying that basically Mahrez was crap in that game. And then Zinchenko comes in. And then all of a sudden, the pitch becomes really wide. Because Mahrez was struggling on that right side to go in behind. In fact, the goal that Sterling scores was from him going in behind and chipping the ball to Gundogan to head the ball into the goal. If Pep knows that, why didn't he start with that idea? Why? And Vator, please chime in here. Why didn't he just start with that, man?
Because I don't think so. We're only saying it was brilliant because it worked. There have been games, I mean that's pretty much what it is. There have been games where, and this is why I say, and he always stresses this. He stresses that you have to create more chances to give you a chance and opportunity to score. He always says that. He says that all the time. He says you get into the final third, and you make it happen. It's my job as the manager to develop a plan to get you in the final third, and then for you guys to figure it out from there.
Yeah.
There have been plenty of times Sterling has been in the final third, and he just forgets how to play. Like he'll get one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he doesn't know what to do. So it's just it worked because it worked, and I think it's more so of the sense of urgency at the moment because this is the last game. This is the last game. If we don't make this happen now, there's no tomorrow. It's not like you're going to come back and play another game tomorrow. So there's always that sense that some players can sense the moment. And I think Gondo especially, I didn't know Zinchenko was like that, but I know Gondo can sense like when the moment, because there was one year where he scored like the most goals on the team. And he always knows how to make those runs inside the box. He's just really good at that. So I think it's a combination of things. I don't want to sit here and say, oh, it's just Pep made this brilliant, but he knew he had to make changes. So the one change that he knew he had to make was Fernandinho. That was clear.
Yeah.
Everyone, even if you
Every,
don't know football,
every,
Ollie Watkins was having an affair with Fernandinho. He was having a love affair with Fernandinho. Like,
for,
there was actually one time where John Stones came from the right back position to help him out because
yeah,
he was clear on goal with Edison because he
Yeah.
misjudged it and he was scrambling, and Stones came and helped him out twice.
Yeah.
So he knew he had to make that one. The other ones were more, okay, we need something new in the front. Mahrez isn't working. I definitely need a left back that's giving me
Yeah.
something else. I need to switch Cancelo over to the right because Cancelo is good on either flank. So I think those were the subs that mattered. But the one sub he knew he had to make was Fernandinho. And it just worked. And you know what? I'm just happy. That's the bottom line. I'm happy we pulled it off. At 2-0, I had no hope. I was congratulating all my Liverpool
yeah,
friends because
yeah,
I
yeah.
know I was going to get it. They were going to clown me. And I was ready. I was like, okay, it's 2-0. We lost. And I was already planning my speech of, well, we played well and we'll be back next year. And what pained me the most was I was like, Liverpool is going to do something in history that no one has ever done. They're going to
Yeah.
win the quadruple, and it will. The media, oh my God, it would have been
Well,
endless.
So the
come to
thing
Vader.
with
I mean, come to Vader. I mean, that's why I say football is a game of the gods because sometimes the gods, right, will always take something away from you to keep you hungry for the next season, right? And Liverpool is all for now. What else is there to do? Do it again. There's always something going to remove from you to make sure you stay hungry. In my opinion, there's always that need to go to the next level. To go to the next level. I think it's good for both teams. That okay, one wins one may win the Champions League and the other cups, but they're striving. The one that won wants, the one doesn't get. The one that won wants doesn't get. We want the Champions League. They want the Premier League, and it's weird that we want this one, they want that one, all right? But still, we're winning this one, we're winning that one that we don't really we want it, but we don't. We want the one more. It's football is the game of the gods, in my opinion, and you cannot script what happened on Sunday. Nope, not the best writer in the whole world can script the margins we're talking about. Wolves scoring at Anfield. When does that happen? Right? Villas, 2. Coutinho, Gerrard scoring. Right? Matty Cash scoring the goal against a Cash team. And we're down to almost 75 minutes. And then it's Ilkay Gundogan, who just got married, who's on the bench, who comes on and scores 2 goals from a striker's position.
Yeah.
Vader.
And this is where I probably come across a little too optimistic sometimes, but it's because I ultimately know that where Pep is coming from with his decisions is based off of obviously what we don't see. It's what he sees in the training grounds. It's what he's seen in countless hours of match play. It's coming from somewhere. So, and we can all speculate, why did he put Fernandinho? Why did he have Stones? And you guys kind of alluded to it. Maybe it was to counter Coutinho. Maybe it was to think that Fernandinho could, with his playing intelligence, be in a proper space and provide cover. But it was clear, with regards to maybe how Gerrard set those guys up and said, here's how we're going to attack them. The weak point is going to be Fernandinho. Let's challenge him with maybe some strength. Let's challenge him with some pace and see where we can go. What Pep did, and I totally agree, Zinchenko had to get on that pitch. He had to. And the beauty with the versatility with Cancelo to be able to like go back and do his thing was fantastic. And we can't dismiss what Stones did too. Stones going from being right back to center back. So I love the amount of versatility that we saw within these players this year. I love how they played for the badge this year. How many players put their bodies on the line, maybe extending injury and jeopardizing their career in a sense with regards to the EPL and Champions League. But when players come onto the pitch having been subbed off, you often see them do specific things. You rarely see them do who they were subbed on for. You see different actions. And Zinchenko coming on, being on that left side, he kept forcing the left.
Right.
He kept forcing to actually send Foden down that left-hand side,
Right.
and we're catching them with pace, as well as on occasion bringing it in to switching play. And then Sterling, his first crucial possession, and I got to go back and watch it. You know me, Carl. I'm gonna go back and watch this 2 or 3 times. But his first critical possession, he actually didn't press to go forward. He squared his man up. And it's almost like, I know there's an opportunity within the box. He squared his man up and then looked and then got some space and crossed it. Like the players came on with specific areas of the pitch or players on the pitch to attack. And Pep obviously had a plan B with regards to that. We can criticize him for what he did to begin that game. And then Gundo challenged the Gundo that we've seen so many times, right?
Yeah.
Like he challenged that striker, not from a striker position that we needed, and went into those spaces. And again, we complain about it all the time. Why isn't someone running to the far post? And he was at that opportunity for the 2 goals.
Certified. Building on Vator's argument here, or discussion here about Gundogan. When Gundo came on, right? Did it remind you of last year when we played in the Premier League when Gundo was scoring all those goals? His role seemed to be one of, you go be that false 9 striker that we need. Don't worry about playing, as a second number 6 or playing as a left number 8. Is that what you noticed? Is that why he got the goals, or was it just the hunger not to disappoint the fan base, or the fact that he just got married last week and he has some favor from God for getting married with his wife? What was the reason why, guys?
Yeah, you never know. Maybe God blessed him and he was like, "Yo, you got married, man. I gotta give you a blessing." But I just think, I think Gundogan, and I think Pep said it, he's just the best at arriving at the box. And I think it was at that moment, Bernardo's good, but he wasn't really, apart from defending. Normally this season he's been good at going into the double pivot, but Bernardo wasn't really at it yesterday. And when they scored the second, I don't know, for a few minutes we were rattled. We were rattled. We lost composure. But Gundogan brings that calmness. He brings that sense of leadership, that he's been here. He was in the Champions League final way before quite a lot of these players were in the Champions League final. With Klopp, so he's got this experience. I'm not sure if he was part of the World Cup winning team. He might not have been, but he's been playing with Germany as well. So he brings the sense of calmness. And when you have that sense of calmness, that's what you need. Sometimes you need. I'm not saying obviously he's like Thiago, but the way Liverpool use Thiago as the guy to calm things down, he doesn't have the passes like Thiago, but he does this. He scores. He gets into the box, and that's what we needed. Kevin De Bruyne was whipping in balls. Cancelo was whipping in balls like crazy. He was shooting even from outside the box. So we needed that kind of guy in the box just to finish. That is why next season, I think, we need Gundogan for another season. We definitely shouldn't sell him. We're not going
to sell Gundogan. I listened to a pod recently, 9320 pod. These guys are really good. They're really, really good. I mean, of all the pods that I listen to, these guys know their stuff. I mean, and they said that because Erling Haaland comes in, right, keeping Gundogan is going to be key, because now you have the extra person who can kind of calm things down in the midfield. Because right now, if Erling comes in, now you have 5 midfielders to play with. You have Rodri, you have a Fernandinho replacement, you have De Bruyne, you have Bernardo, and you have Gundogan. So you have 5 midfielders you can rotate for 3. So you always have the luxury. Erling Haaland creates a multiplier effect in midfield. But having said that, Cam and who else is there? Okay, and I did you expect Grealish to play this game at all? Was it a risk to play him? Would you expect him to start or to come into the game, Cam? And then Ade, come to you.
You're on mute.
Cam, you're on mute.
He's a £100 million footballer. If he's not going to play in these big clutch matches, when is he going to play? I mean, it's a bit outrageous if he was dropped. You're not big enough to play against. I would have been. If Pep thinks he's the best solution for the team, he'll play him. He buys mentally tough people. So we're not talking about people. He inherited Sterling, and I know there's a thing around Sterling and coming back to Anfield. He sometimes struggles. Maybe Pep wouldn't have bought Sterling. I don't know, but all the players Pep buys generally have mental toughness. So for his demands, right? I read somewhere that after 3-4 years they get burnout because it's so intense. So Yeah, Grealish. Yeah, I would have been surprised had he not played.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I expected him not to start. I just felt that in this game on the left side, you need Foden because Foden has that directness. He kind of runs in behind. His left footed. You want that width. But I don't. I mean, what were you
okay,
surprised?
just real quick. I know we've been lost in conversation, so I'm just going to touch on some of the comments real quick.
Yeah.
SSB 28 says once the first goal went in the back of the net, you knew it was going to be over. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
McLovin says, imagine Cash was the downfall of all FC.
Imagine the irony. Imagine the
Yeah,
back page, right?
Zinni for
Cash.
the Rodri goal. Zinni. So I want to touch on that comment. The
Talk on that.
Rodri goal, I think, was the most. That was the only goal they actually worked. If you catch my drift, the first goal was okay. The way it happened, the cross. Sometimes those kind of cross, the defender heads it out, so it's kind of a little bit of luck, but it's just about Gondo being in the right space at the right time. But there's a little bit of luck involved. The goal from Zinni, and that's why I agree with Cam on this. Zinni was probably the best sub out of all the subs that came in because he was even involved in the third goal because he's the one that directed traffic to the other end. You can see him pointing and saying, "Go this way," and then they took the ball this way. The bad touch from Mings, and then De Bruyne whipped it in. But Zinni's goal to Rodri was set up so perfectly. Man, Zinni, man, and then the emotions involved at the end when he's wrapping the Ukrainian flag around the trophy. I just thought it was a great moment for him. But back to the conversation. I don't really know what to say. It's one of those things where you just won and you're just happy. I know how I felt watching the game yesterday, and I was just in all sorts, man. I was so depressed. I was depressed because the way I watch the game is not like most people. I'm watching three games at the same time. I have the Liverpool game up, I have our game up, and I'm also watching. I was watching the Arsenal game as well. So I have three games, and I'm only really concentrating on the Liverpool game and our game. And I'm watching every time we score. I'm watching them score, and Wolves pretty much is what kept City in this game. A lot of people have said it, but if they had scored that 2-1 before we scored our goal, it gets through the crowd and you sense the energy, and then there's panic, and then they start doing things they're not supposed to do. So we got to give Wolves a little bit of credit for giving Liverpool such a hard time. You got to give them some
Absolutely.
credit for that. So that's another point to make. But I'm just enjoying the conversation. I'm lost for words today.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can I just say something very
Go ahead,
quickly?
Tom.
Sorry
Yeah,
to
Vader.
interrupt.
Yeah.
We were actually very lucky. We played very well offensively, but we were actually very lucky on a couple big moments against Wolves. They were through a couple times. One of them,
I saw that.
square the ball. Allison has a presence in goal, so maybe that put up. But they should have done a lot better. And
They had another chance. I forget who it was. He had a clear on chance with Allison, and he flubbed it.
yeah, the
Okay.
guy from Korea, is he from Korea? One
I
on one.
think
Oh
yes,
yeah.
the one-on-one chance.
Mm.
I
There's
was
another
so
one where 10 minutes later, when they scored their first one, they had nearly a replica of the same chance.
correct.
Right? Then there was another one, the second half. I looked at the big chances. We had 4 and they had 3 big chances. Ironically, in the Aston Villa City game, the XG was 3 to Man City and 0.2 or 3 to Aston Villa. They only created 1 big chance. You guys created 3, which I found interesting because some of the chances Villa missed were quite big chances as well, the one-on-ones and stuff like that. So, and I thought Wolves had a lot more bigger chances than us.
They did.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna touch on one thing. If you go back and watch the Liverpool game and the City game, you'll notice those two great teams share one thing in common. When the opposition is a mid-table or lower table, well, usually mid-table or a little bit higher, the chances they get against those two teams are always quality chances. And it's because of the way we play. The both teams play high. So when they are able to get behind you, they have better chances to score. And that's why most times the chances lead to goals. because they're way better chances than the Liverpool and the City chances, because you have to break them down to score. While they're getting behind you, somebody misjudges a pass, and it's like, oh, it's 2-on-1. All they have to do is get the pass right, and it's usually a goal.
Yeah.
That gets annoying a little bit, but I'm like, if we change the way we play, then we're not Liverpool and we're not City anymore. If we say we're going to start keeping in mind that they might lob the ball over, so let's sit back a little more, then that's not City anymore. And
You'll become
sometimes
Chelsea.
you become Chelsea, you become Arsenal.
Mourinho's era.
So you hear fans talk about this a lot, and they're like, oh, why do we have to always play so high? Well, we play so high because we have to score 90 plus points to win the league out of the last 4 years. That's why. And we're going to make mistakes sometimes, but that's why we do that.
I mean,
exactly.
Data real quick. So I call it the game of percentages, right? You have a higher chance of scoring more goals. You press high up the field. Even when I talked to Patrick, I coach, under 14 kids, and we play a 4-3-3, and the kids are quite good. We train them based on Klopp and Guardiola's system of playing, because I believe in that system, right? So we play high up the field, we press high, win the ball high, 4-3-3. We got counterattack. So our direct rivals right now in the league that we're playing in, right, have conceded 0 goals. They've played, I think we've all played 7 games or so. They've conceded 0 goals, but they've scored, I think, 9 goals. We have conceded 2 goals, but have scored over 19 goals or so in like 6 games or so. Right, so we do concede goals because we play high up, but we create more chances to score goals because we're high up on the field. So it's all about the game of percentage and how you instill in the mind of your players the need to always be on the front foot and attack the opposition. Right, Vader, coming to you. Question for you, Vader, and then Certified, answer this question too. The third goal, does any other player pass that ball like Kevin De Bruyne does to Gundogan on the field that day? If that fell to Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling, or Zinchenko, even Gundogan himself, does anybody pass that ball in that particular?
I'm gonna stop you right there. There's absolutely nobody. There's no one that does that pass other than Kevin De Bruyne. Not just because Cam's here and he's a guest with us, but a player that would have the would be brave, would have the courage to do it, would also be a Trent. And it's because there's a trust in yourself as a player that I can put it in that place. And whether it's lack of ability or maybe lack of confidence, I don't see anyone else doing it. I see Kevin seeing that opportunity and disguising it like a shot and putting it across, which we've seen him do many times. It's like the way he whips it, it looks like it's a shot on net, but you see the amount of weight that he puts on it, and you see the curve, and you realize, no, he didn't fluff a shot. No, it wasn't by accident. He placed it there. And this is what we kind of talked about earlier. Gundo is Bernardo Silva doesn't run that far post. He doesn't do it. We've seen him do it on the right-hand side of the pitch more often, but not on that side. And Gundo, to be able to get out there, the rest is history. But if Kevin's not on that pitch, and I think that's why there was a lot of criticism if we want to go back to Champions League, if Kevin's not on that pitch, no one else takes that. I honestly doubt that Cancelo would have attempted that. So
I mean, Certified, again, going back to Kevin's pass, and this applies to also, I think, to Trent as well. I think the two things they have in common is that both managers tell them to do what they do best. Pass that ball in. Don't worry about losing the ball and running behind. Don't worry about getting intercepted as a quarterback. Do what you do best. And oftentimes when you make that move, when you pass that ball, it gets to the person. That's my own interpretation of what the manager will tell them. Go and do what you do best. Your weaker side will compensate for that, but do what you do best. Certified. When that ball went from Kevin, when Kevin had the ball, was running in, what was going through your mind, man? And that pass.
Man, that pass, man. To be honest, I'm not surprised. To be honest, there's only a few players. There's the few players in the world that can make passes like that. It's really, you have to be at a high level, and I'm talking about obviously your Messis and your Trents and all that, but there's only a few players that can find them, make those bends. But when you talk about this, when it comes to Kevin De Bruyne, for me, he doesn't surprise me. When I seen him do that, I was not surprised. If there was anyone that was going to assist us with this title, it was going to be Kevin De Bruyne. It's just funny. Of course, he had to get the final assist. Everyone was talking about his goals before, but what he goes down to is those assists, and that's what ends up winning us the title. He carried us this season. For me, Kevin De Bruyne, the reason why I say I'm not even surprised, because for me, this guy is, for me, I think he's the best ever the best ever midfielder in the Premier League. Now, for me, I'll come out and I'll defend him. For me, this Kevin De Bruyne is our level now, where he is in that conversation with the best, or at least in the Premier League. And then everything else, I'm not quite yet. The Xavi Zidane, I've been seeing people tweet, "Relax, guys, we need to calm down a bit." But as for the Premier League, he's there. He's there. So for me, he's very special. So when he comes up with these moments, it doesn't surprise me anymore, because for me, I see how good he is, and for me, he is generational. He is that level, and don't be surprised if he wins PFA, the award. I don't know when the vote's coming in, but don't be surprised if he wins and ends up free time and a record break in that PFA award, because he is at that level.
I think we're
so
lucky.
True City fan says in the comments, he says Raheem has to stay those crosses to Haaland. Wow, imagine. Okay, yeah, sure. McLovin says the classic KDB pass rewinding the Sane days. Yeah, I agree with you, Sane. But yeah. So I have a bit of a different take on the KDB thing. I think so. When we say pass, it's really more of you're putting the ball in a dangerous area, and Trent does it too. You're putting the ball in an area where a striker goes to attack, and we don't have strikers, so I don't really fault the players we have so much. We don't have Jota, we don't have Mane, we don't have Diaz that know that attack. These guys attack, they're attackers. We don't have players like that. We have midfielders that Pep is trying to make into attackers. So when KDB whips all these balls in, they don't know that. It's not how they've ever played the game to attack a ball and go. Gondo is just different. Gondo is a bit different from the other guys that play up front for us, because again, we're going back to why he scored a lot of goals, is because he has this instinct that says, okay, I got to go and be in the right area to get this goal coming. And so I think Haaland is important. I don't think it's really going to change the way we play. It's just that those opportunities, when that ball is put in that dangerous area, he's a striker that knows, I got to go get it.
Did you think that? Do you think? I mean, you just raised a good point too. So what Gundo does, he arrives. Klopp always talks about and Pep about arriving.
That's
And
it.
what Liverpool players do really well, better
Is
than
they
anybody
arrive.
else, is they arrive.
Yes, they're
arrive,
brilliant at it.
right?
That's why they have
Do you think
three.
that?
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you think that because Gundo played for Klopp earlier in the day, that discipline of arriving, especially last year, right? Arriving in the box with those crosses is something that's not helped us yesterday and helped us last season. And again, based on what you're saying, I go back to the point of arriving at the right point. And it's not hard.
That's a really good point.
To arrive at the right time.
It's a really good point. And I didn't even make that connection, because the players that Klopp also have, they're not attackers, except Jota. Jota is the only real attacker on the team. Mohamed Salah is a winger, Mane's a winger, Luis Diaz is a winger, but they are always there. And so, you know what? You might have a point that Gondo maybe picked that up from Klopp, but I just know that Liverpool have 3 guys in top 10 in scoring. They know how to attack ball. We don't have that. Our goals are spread out between defense and midfielders and all these other guys. So,
but that's stylistically. That's stylistically. Our wingers, from an XG perspective, are just as ruthless as your wingers. We just create more big chances as a team because we're faster in our transition. We're more of a risk-taking team. So I know you outscored us in the end, but our big chances were like 20, 30 above you guys.
Okay.
It's purely stylistically. Diaz, Mane, Salah, their XG, they hit their XG. Sterling hits his XG. Jesus is the only one that doesn't hit his XG. But we're very similar in terms of output. It's just stylist. This is why we get Jamie Carragher, I think. Sorry to interrupt, but
no, go ahead.
That Alisson faced nearly double the amount of one-on-one chances. That's not because Van Dijk isn't as good as your centre halves. I'd argue and say he's probably the best centre half in the world, maybe. Another argument, right? But it's because stylistically we don't control the ball as much as you guys, and therefore you guys don't create as much chances, but you don't concede as many big chances as we do.
Right.
So I do think people say Jota's a striker. He plays mostly on the wing for us, but he's got a great finish on him. But again, it's our transition, it's our speed of play. We go from back to front. That's why most people say Man City play the best football, but we're the most exciting team. Some do. Maybe Man City fans don't.
No, you have a point. You have a point. I mean, your transition is very, very quick from back to front. Trent can get the ball, swing it to Mane on the left, and within 5 seconds,
when people are out of position, right? You move quick, and that's why we create a higher rate of bigger chances. But Man City are more controlled. You don't concede as many big chances as a result. Maybe that will change with Haaland.
I mean, for me, certified, it's just, 93 to 92 points. To win the league. What do you say? It's 11 months. Was it 11 months? Almost 11 months of just going week after week, game after game, where a draw is almost a loss, right? When Liverpool drew to Tottenham, right? You draw to Tottenham Hotspur, who's supposed to be a contender as well for the league, and it's like a loss. City draw to West Ham, and it's like almost, oh my God, if it was away. You draw away. Silex used to say, win at home and get whatever you can away. That was the mentality, right? Win at home and whatever you can get away. Now, if you even draw away, it's like, oh, we've lost the game. Where do we go from here, Vator? Where do we go? Where do we go from here into next season with these two teams? Because we're going to play again in August at the Community Shield. It starts again in August.
Yeah. I don't get too hung up on the points, to tell you the truth. And the reason why is because it only matters with who you're battling with. So if we're worried about Liverpool, if we're worried about Chelsea, and we're obviously all facing the same opponents, it's more important on us playing well against them. Right? It's us trying to get points against them, because we're all going to make the assumption that they're going to do their business against the rest of the league, and we're going to have to do the same, right? So if the league plays out the way it's supposed to be, and everyone arms up, everyone gets back to their powers, then the points that we've been getting off of Manchester United, a Chelsea, an Arsenal, Tottenham, Spurs. Unfortunately, we didn't get points off of them this year. But with regards to those teams, that's where the battle is going to face. Everyone within league is obviously going to step up, and we kind of talked about it. The reason why we can't predict wins is because teams will play how they need to play to have a good result. So if they need to play 11 men back, they'll do that. If they need to play with a counter, they'll do that. If they need to scum up the game, they'll do that. But it's how they need to approach the game to try to get a win. I really think what we should be focusing on is how we play against the teams that match us in terms of strength, in a way. That's where I've always put the emphasis. But from a point tally, we can't look at next year and start saying that if we're not getting 90 plus points that we've given the league away. Like, imagine.
You will.
It is
if
crazy.
either team get less than 90 points next season, provided injuries don't come in, you will.
They won't win.
Yep.
Yeah, Cam is 200% right.
Yep.
He's 200% right. If Liverpool City don't get 90+%, they won't win. There's just no way.
It's the
It's sad, but that's the way it is.
It's crazy. It is. It is absolutely mad. We should be. We should be thankful that we're alive watching this kind of stuff in the Premier League. To be fair, yes, we have a rivalry with Liverpool and Chelsea, but we should be thankful that we're living this. And the reality is that because of the expansion of the Premier League into all parts of the world, in Asia and Africa and the US, the eyes are on the game. There's more money in the game, which allows this kind of thing to happen. So we're part responsible for that, right? But to watch these three teams or these four teams go for it. I mean, United are what? They're 35 points behind City and 34 behind
The
Liverpool.
next closest team to Liverpool and City is 24.
United have a goal difference of 0. Now, let me explain.
Sorry, Carl, one sec.
Context. They have a goal difference of 0. City have 79 goals more. Liverpool have, I think, 68 or something more. That is... I mean,
so let me just say that. Let's say it out loud so we can all understand. We had 3 losses this year. Liverpool had 2 losses this year. Are we trying to tell ourselves that we can't afford to have more than 3 losses next year?
Vator, the evidence tells you so.
Okay. Maybe not as much as the losses, but you can't draw as much. So you have to balance it out.
To that point, we had 6 draws. Liverpool had 8.
Right.
You can't draw that many games next year.
Okay. It sounds
I'll
crazy.
tell you this now, right? The season we won the league, we came out like a bull in a china shop, and I suspect we're going to go the same way because of what's happened this season. So I think you guys cannot afford to lose, and we're petrified of losing now because of what we don't want to feel that again.
Right.
So listen, Man City, Chelsea, no disrespect to them, but it's more than just management. It's the whole Chelsea have a whole squad to change. They have an ownership issue. Let's rule it out. Arsenal. Tottenham will do better under Conte, but they're building. And then you've got Man United. They're 35 points aside behind. They've got their own issues. The reason why I think other teams will struggle is because there was a window. That window was when Klopp and Pep came. Everybody was in transition, and it allowed those 2 managers, when everybody was down, to start to dominate in their own ways. Now there's 2 dominant managers, and the others don't have that window and that patience, if you like, to build and reach that height. Does that sort of make sense?
It does. Yeah. It does. The reason why, and the reason why I'm hung up on this total is because Liverpool and Manchester City could afford to lose points. Like, we as a club could afford to lose points because the nearest, which is Chelsea, and let's say Chelsea doesn't do what they did this year, but they're at 74 points. So I understand the perfection that we both pursued and why the tally's so high, but we could challenge for the league and it be at a lower scale with regards to the point tally between the 2 of us, especially if we do make it a mission of ours to try and go after every competition as well.
The problem, Vader, is it's all psychology, right? Is how do you prescribe that Liverpool won't try to win every single game?
No. I understand that. Yeah.
And likewise, City, right? It's the mentality that's been built in both clubs is one of we have to win every single game to be champion, essentially. Right?
That's what
we don't win every single game. We have to make sure that we do our best to at least get a point to be champion, which leads to 100 points, 99 points, 98, 97, 93, 92. Okay? Mm-hmm. While everybody else is kind of 15, 20 points behind. So you don't break that mentality overnight. It's both teams self-perpetuate the reality of the other. Right? The year that Liverpool had injuries and were 4th in league last year, right? Our point total was 86, 87 points.
87, I think. Yeah.
Right. And Chelsea was 10 points behind, or United were 10 points behind, or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because Liverpool were not at the races because of injuries and the COVID, we also kind of dropped our levels. But the moment one team rises up to the challenge, the other team has to rise up as well, which is why we have 1 point, 19 points, 1 point. That's the psychology behind the Premier League that we have today.
Yeah, and I'm not mad at it. I know the reaction that Liverpool had the year after losing by 1 point. Like to Cam's point, they came out like gangbusters. They were like, we don't want this feeling again, and they were going full tilt. I understand that if we want to be in the mix, and I agree with you, Ade and Carl, and and Cam. I agree with what the standard will need to be at to best secure the league, right?
Yeah.
It's just it's amazingly crazy when you actually say it out
It's
loud. That's
It is. It is.
crazy.
And to go
But you
back
know what?
to sorry, just 1 second. The year that Liverpool actually won it, I believe, we had a lot of injuries that year, but even that year, we actually did amazing well. We
Yep,
did
87
amazingly
points.
well at it. If you look at that, I think we had 81. If you
80.
look at our
That
goal
was
tally and the goal difference, we did better than Liverpool.
81.
It's just we had some key
we were
injuries that
leaking
we could.
goals. Yeah, we leaked
Yeah,
a
we
lot of
couldn't.
goals.
We leaked goals by the buttload, but we couldn't keep up with them, and they never stopped scoring.
They got
I think
cruise. They
towards
cruise.
the end they kind of slowed down just a little bit, but they just
Mhm.
they were unbelievable that day.
Certified. Go ahead. Certified.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, just on the whole point of next season, because I can see what Cam was saying. Liverpool, I think, will start off very strong. I think they will, just the way they've ended this season, they'll try and get that again. But I just think that for some reason, I just think we will also be at that level as well. I think that if you look at 1920 and you probably look at it, we had Laporte out,
Yeah,
obviously. Like, I know there was a few injuries. I know Aguero was there for the start, but by December he was already gone. We had Zinchenko, he was out games. We had Edison out. So there was a few injuries we had that season. And I think when I look at that Liverpool team after the 18-19 season, I don't remember them having playing as many games. I remember they played the Champions League, the Premier League, and then the cup games. They weren't really there. I think when you play this amount of games, the same as we did last season, apart from obviously we didn't get to the FA Cup final, the injuries or the knocks, or as Pep says, the niggle, they can easily start to appear. So I don't think it's gonna be as both teams are gonna run away with it. I always say with football, can't take for granted until, because literally I
There's
didn't even.
one little thing that may actually not favor your argument, buddy. One small thing next year. 5 subs.
mm,
5
that's
Yeah,
a
subs are
five,
in.
different. That's a big
Yeah.
difference. So you
five
can
subs.
use more. I
Pep
Five
better
think
subs.
use them.
5
I
subs are
think we'll
in.
actually see more of our academy next year because
5 subs are in.
we are going to have to change a little bit of the things we do, especially in these cup games, the FA Cups, and the Carabao Cup, and because Klopp already does that. Klopp already does that, and he puts a lot of these youngsters in those games. We're gonna have to see a lot because we have one of the best academies in all of
What's the
Europe.
point of having an
What's the
academy?
point of having them if you don't use them?
let me throw some fire on this flame, right? They've got 5 subs coming in. And just this week, Liverpool signed Carvalho. They signed Diaz in January. Sitson, Alvarez, and Holland. United have signed nobody. Chelsea, nobody. Arsenal, nobody. Tottenham have 2 guys on loan, which will go back to Juventus. Will it surprise you next year if both teams crash 100 points
I don't think they do. I don't think they do.
with 5 subs?
Ye with little faith, my friend.
I don't think they do because
It,
I know we don't account for it, but because it's the intangibles, injuries are going to happen, and they can happen to a key player, and that throws everything out of whack.
it's
You know
early
what
to
I mean?
say. It's early
We
to say.
beat. Sorry to interrupt. We beat 90% of teams with. I reckon we could rotate 4 or 5 players quite comfortably.
Yeah, with
I
5
think
subs,
it's
it changes the game completely.
It
Because all of a
changes.
sudden now,
I think it's going to
if
depend
Sterling or Jesus stays and you have Alvarez, you can swap and change around. You can. I mean,
But I
it's
want to see. So you're still talking about the starters. I want to see these academy guys. I want to see Adoze. I want to see Palmer. I want to see Liam Diab. I want to see these guys
Well,
so
Ade,
that.
the problem. Ade, you want to see those guys. It's okay to see those guys, Ade. I agree with you, right? But you got Klopp chasing you behind. You can afford to have those guys
Yeah,
play
but
90 minutes.
I'm not talking about in the Premier League. Like if we start off in the because these guys are good. Adoze was amazing when the
Yeah,
season started.
why
You
don't
know what
you
I mean?
point them out?
they're
He got
fine.
injured. He got injured.
Yeah, injured, yeah.
Can
So
I
I
just
don't know.
say something? What will be interesting is how other teams adapt to us. So I think that's the other variable, right? Because we've both basically had our way with the league, if you like, teams for a few years. I think if the teams can't adapt, then it's 90 to 100 points again, quite easily.
Yeah.
So on that note, though, okay, you know what? I'm talking too much. Somebody
Vader,
else.
go ahead. Yeah.
No.
Vader, go ahead. I did come back to you and
So
set
I was
this
just-
point in before we wrap up real quick.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's gonna be very interesting, and obviously we love football, so there's gonna be future content coming through. But it's going to be an interesting summer to see how the managers decide to rearm themselves for this upcoming season, right? Where they see the weaknesses and they want to strengthen, and obviously where they want to maybe look to add some firepower, right? Because when we have a better vision, when we see that clearly, I think how we speculate on the points that we're going to go after or the style of play that we're going to do or how dominant we may be, we'll have that clear. Because obviously we don't have the perfect team, right? Neither of us have the perfect team. We've had instances throughout the year where like we've obviously seen we're not able to do as much as we want against different defenses that we faced, or even time of year with regards to international breaks and additional cups. One thing I want to say, and I haven't said this, but when we are looking during the season, and I'm going to do a year-end recap. I'm going to look to include you guys on it. But when we were looking at the season, and I was guilty of this, knowing that Mane and Salah were going to be doing their international duties, and we did have the points lead at the time that we had, I did kick up my feet a little bit. I did think that they were going to drop points. I was almost willing to bet on it.
I thought so as well.
And what in a blessing in disguise for Liverpool is that Klopp trusting those players and coming through and getting those points,
right,
then gave him that squad that they all had the confidence to be like, we now have a squad to go battle.
And that's what I'm telling you.
I'm just going to say goodbye from me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for having me on the show again. I'm going to have nightmares now. But thank you very much.
Good luck, mate. Good luck on Sunday or Saturday.
Thank you very much. Have a
Thank you, Cam.
And thanks for having me again.
Awesome. Thank you, Cam.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Abdullah, you're here? You want to say Abdullah is from Chelsea, Vator. He also
all right.
Real quick. Abdullah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
you're
a little
kind of
bit.
low.
Oh, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, a little louder.
Oh, okay. I've been listening to you guys a little bit. Kyle, you know me very well. Like me, I despise Liverpool. It's not me.
Like Liverpool at all.
Me, I hate them from day one. They are my enemies. Enemies number one. Me and their fans. We fight on social media every day. Me and them are fighting. And I keep telling them we'll continue to fight until Jesus Christ come to the head. That's me. They know me and them, we tackle each other. And when I saw that formation yesterday, I almost broke my brand new TV that I just bought. Because I look at Pep Guardiola, Pep, I beg, don't do this to me right now. Please. Just don't do this to me. Because when Liverpool scored that first goal, a Liverpool fan just already tagged me. You are in trouble. Don't come to social media. I did not respond. When Coutinho scored, I just off the TV. I just went outside. I did not say a word. I just went outside. I did not say anything. I just went outside. I was not started cursing Pep Guardiola. You're an idiot. You're a bastard. Just say something. Do something, please. I'm not showing up this night. So, but because I understand Pep is a freak of nature in terms of winning domestic titles, I trust him. And okay, this man will find a way to ginger these players. Because it's a domestic titles, I trust Pep to do this. I trust him to do this. So when I saw Zinchenko coming on, I was okay. When after 15 minutes, like 55, 60 minutes, the match changed. I was like, okay, good. I was impressed. The first goal comes, like, thank God, finally. I was looking at the time, 77, 80. Hi, God, when will this happen? When the second goal came in, I was celebrating as if I'm a Manchester City fan. That's how I said. When Gundogan scored, oh my days in heaven. If you look at my celebration, people thought I started becoming a Man City fan. Because I know the emotions in Pep Guardiola's face that yes, we get it, we did it, we get it right. And when I look at Liverpool, because I was watching Liverpool and Man City together, I was like, hi, Liverpool have already scored. Jeez. Oh my God. And I knew, because I know Wolverhampton under scoring goals would ginger Liverpool for me. I think if it was maybe team like West Ham, Brighton a little bit, I don't think Liverpool will come back. Because once West Ham score that goal, they'll go and defend. They will not come out. It will push Liverpool out. They just counter them. Mikel Antonio, Bowen, game over. And if it is Brighton will not even defend. They'll come at you. That's how they play.
By the way, that's a good team, man.
And Brighton, and I keep telling you, if it was Brighton that was playing instead of Wolverhampton Wanderers, Liverpool is losing that match yesterday. They will lose that match yesterday because Brighton will tell you, we don't even care about it. Maybe you can play football. Let's play together. We'll see who's gonna score that goal. Let's play together. That's Brighton. So for me, I'm happy for Man City because they deserve to win it. I'm happy because I keep telling people, Liverpool lost the title at the Etihad Stadium when they do 2-2. They lost the Premier League title there. When they do that to us, like it's game over. There's no way in hell Pep is gonna surrender the Premier League title. Never. Because then you have your chance to win there. You did not win. It's game over. It is game over.
The funny thing I've realized about that stat is that every time we've gone to Anfield and actually got a point when we played them, we've actually won the league. So the twice, 18, 19, and 19, and then this year we've gone to Anfield. First time was 0-0. Remember that one I did, the one we played them 0-0.
Yeah.
And then this year when we played them 2-2. Later. And then last year when we got 4-1, every time they got a result, we end up winning the league. So it's those fine margins, man.
Yeah.
I think the issue for me, the issue with Liverpool is this is where Ellen Haaland comes in. And as a Chelsea fan, I'm afraid. I pray to go because I just hear the news that the government is gonna approve Chelsea takeover tomorrow night, by tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. It's gonna be official. So the sanction is gonna be lifted, everything. So we'll be able to buy players and everything. That makes me happy. Because Man City signing Haaland, I already told Carl, man, I'm not watching Premier League next season. I told him already. I'm serious. I'm not joking.
You watch now. Why won't you watch? You watch now.
I'm not watching Premier League.
I'm not winning now.
I'm serious because I know the kind of player Eden Haaland is. KDB, Bernardo Silva, Riyad Mahrez, Raheem Sterling. And you're expecting to... I'm not talking of Man City next season because I know in the first, maybe from August to September, I know he's going to be top in the league.
So Vader, I've watched a lot of Erling Haaland. A lot. I've watched a lot of Erling Haaland. I mean, a lot. Like hours and hours, right? And that goal that Gundogan scored is actually an Erling Haaland goal. And what I mean by that, where he likes to operate, his hot zone is the left-hand side of the penalty box, that area, because he's left-footed. So he naturally gravitates toward that side. So that ball that Kevin puts in is what Erling Haaland does. Those tap-ins on that left side of the bar, that's exactly where his hot zone is. It's where he loves to operate. Watch a lot of his games, even when it was a mold under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when he was like 16, 17. That's kind of where he operates on that left foot.
The only thing that can make me happy if you can hijack Robert Lewandowski. Now we can.
This fan wants Lewandowski.
Anyway, we've gone about an hour and 23 minutes. I don't want to take too much of you guys' time, but I just wanted to us just chat about the game on Sunday. I have never felt that. I've never felt despair and joy. I have a video, I'll probably post it on, with me celebrating. My son, my 6-year-old son, was just laughing and laughing and laughing all the way through because it was just a great moment. And I used it to kind of talk to my son that, look, never give up. Whenever you're down, even when you're playing soccer, never give up. In life, never give up. Always believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself and you never give up, something good will come from it. I would hope that this is just the beginning because on July 1st, Vator, Ade, Robot Boy is coming. Robot Boy is coming.
He's in town July 1. And I think official announcements will be
July 1st.
No?
July 1st.
July 1st, yeah.
July 1st? I thought the window opens June 1, no?
The window opens in June, actually, but I think the contract year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it may be June, actually. It may be June.
I thought we would see him maybe holding a jersey June 1 or close around then. But regardless, whenever it happens, it is going to be a fantastic. It will happen. It's going to be fantastic.
I beg, do us well. I beg, do us well with that. I beg.
It's the Premier League. Anything can happen, man. But to wrap up real quick, so we know the season's ended. There's still one more game this weekend. Many of you will probably be supporting Real Madrid. Some people will.
I'll support Real Madrid, of course.
But Vader has a lots of shows coming up on his channel. We'll talk about many different things he wants to talk about.
Please invite me. I will join you.
We will talk about transfers as we get news about transfers coming in. Maybe we do a show a week or so, talk about transfers. Patrick will do his thing. I'll do my thing.
I think I'll also do it too. I'll do my stuff also on YouTube in terms of.
Yeah. So I mean, are there any last words from you, mate, before we check out?
Next season is going to be awesome because Robot Boy is going to change everything. He's going to change. He's going to change everything. He's going to all these great chances of balls putting into dangerous areas. The counter attack is what I actually want to see a counter attack with Haaland in front. You can't catch him, and he's stronger than you. He showed us that when he played against Diaz. He bullied Diaz. He showed us that when he's played against any defender. He's too strong and he's too fast. He's going to be fouled a lot more than they fouled Jack Grealish. It's going to be fun.
Vator, share your channel and then some last words.
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna big up my channel, but before I do that, if you're new on this channel, hit that follow button and subscribe, and hit the like button. Pitch points, amazing content. If I want to be in the know, I come to these guys. I come to Pitch Points. And then also True City Fan, he was in the comments earlier. Support that channel as well. Great content. We're a family here, so you're gonna get great content from all of us. If you're gonna tune into my channel, and please do subscribe, hit that follow button. My channel is Vator Games TV, and I have content for Why Always Me. That's where I just share my perspective. I've got another show, Home and Away, where I try to talk to home fans with Manchester City fans, home fans, to get some content. And I've got a show that's in the works right now that I'm working in the background, and it's for us Manchester City fans to deal with these rivals and their tears and all their crying. So I'm working on a show with that. It's in the works. But follow your boy, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Abdullah, you want to talk about your channel? I love Abdullah's channel. Abdullah is a Chelsea fan. He's a really nice guy. And his channel is weird because all fans come on his channel and we talk about football. And we go on for 3, 4, 5 hours, literally, right? And it goes long into the night, and we all have fun and we talk and we have a good time. Talk about your channel, Abdullah, and talk about
my channel is the Blue Studio. Like, people will come to some of my pictures on social media, especially on Twitter. You're gonna just get the Blue Studio. You're gonna see me on YouTube. Is there already. So I talk most of football. Yeah, I'm a Chelsea fan, but I talk mostly all football, La Liga, Syria, the League, on everything. And also mostly I talk about transfers a lot also too. Especially now the season's finished. We're gonna be expecting the takeover stuff. I'm gonna be talking about that possibly tomorrow, on Wednesday, or maybe Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be talking about the takeover, the transfers too. We're gonna talk about that. The UCL finals. I've already have some Madrid fans set up already and some Liverpool fans setting up already to have the preview in terms of that. But guys, like the Pitch Point and True City Fan, those are my people. They are my people. So guys, I beg, subscribe. I beg my people. I beg, just subscribe. I want to say, please, God, I want Lewandowski, please.
You get him in Jesus' name.
What are you going to do with Lukaku?
I want Lewandowski.
What happened to
Lukaku? Is here now, so I can have something to, like, if I want to abuse Liverpool fans, I can have something to abuse them with. So please, give me Lewandowski. Haaland is a man that I can flex. I want to flex with Lewandowski, I beg. Please.
Okay, no problem.
So follow these guys online. For us, we are excited about the game yesterday. I mean, it was a roller coaster. All those who are watching for around there, Big Morgan, McLovin, Charlie, all these guys out there, thanks for joining us today. It's been an hour and 29 minutes. It's been a long
guys.
One. We'll be back again. Just look out as we get more transfer news. We'll come and do a short one. We'll talk about strategy. We have this show called The Boardroom, where we go into the details of financials and actually the possibility of signing the players. So look out for that show that's come recently. Okay. Until then, up the Champions Blues from Man City. Peace out.
The blue side of Manchester. Yep.